I just had to say this because I now realize why I was so fascinated with that Remy Ma and Nicki Minaj rap beef. It's because that kind of bitchiness and that kind of like lack of understanding of boundaries and shit talking is the kind of thing that I see in my industry, which is filled to the brim with divas and on the opposite spectrum, love and lighters who have zero critical thinking skills. And this is not a bash. This is just expressing an observation of what I'm seeing right now with practitioners, with tarot card readers, with other psychics. And the reason I say this is because when I was waking up and I was having conversations with the Archangel Gabriel, and I was having visitations from angels, and I was having UFO sightings, and I was becoming telepathic, and I was having all kinds of shit that I had no support for, and I thought I was losing my mind. And I went to my mom and I said, Mommy, please give me a pill, because she's a psychologist. I said, please get one of your psychiatrist friends to prescribe a pill for me. Please do a psych eval. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm losing my mind. And she couldn't. She said, Anya, you're not crazy. You need to find people like yourself and learn about your abilities. This is a spiritual concern, and this is out of my jurisdiction. And my heart sank. My heart sank. Because I was like, oh, Lord, just give me a pill. Just give me a pill. You know, on the one hand, I was totally relieved. But on another hand, I knew it was going to be hard to find people like myself. Not because I'm a unique little snowflake, but because y'all are so fucking bitchy and so catty and so crazy and so not tending to your own inner life. It goes one of two ways. There's usually no in between. There's usually someone on one end of the spectrum that's filled with hubris, that knows everything. No one can tell them shit. They are the queen. And everybody else sucks. And this form of divination is worse than that form of divination. And I know I was there for a little bit. I was like, well, I don't use divination tools. Or you use tarot cards? Oh, that's so cute. But now I'm like, whatever works. You know, I humbled myself because I focused on my shit. And I didn't go in little trifling rap beefs with people who are clearly mentally ill. And that's another thing, practitioners who are so-called healers. The other end of the spectrum is that so many of you are love and lighters who have zero critical thinking skills. And I can't relate to any of you. I can't relate to the divas because the divas are like, I am the best. And they can't humble themselves. And they are talented people. They're usually the more talented ones, but they are talented people. But they got an ego that keeps us from having any kind of dialogue whatsoever. And then the other end of the spectrum is, oh, come, the Mother Teresa complex, where everyone can come into their arms and they have no boundaries, and they usually have poverty consciousness. And poverty consciousness is not just about money. It's also about lack and how you truly feel about yourself. And you're not doing your inner work. You're not working on yourself. As a truly wise man once said to me, and it slapped the silly out of me. It really did. It got me thinking. As a truly wise man once said to me, focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. What is happening when you get triggered by some trifling mentally ill bitch who claims that she can put demons in you, she can put spirits in you? What is that? That's most likely mental illness. But you as a practitioner, because psychology isn't going to do shit for us. They aren't going to help us. They don't want anything to do with us. There's very few practitioners who are psychologists who are going to outreach to people like ourselves. So you know, as much as I do, that certain types of people come to us who cannot, for whatever reason, go to a psychologist. We are the front line to a lot of mental illness. And we could be working with the psychological industrial complex. We could be helping them to understand highly sensitive people better and intuitive people better, and empaths, true empaths, people who literally are feeling other people's feelings. But there's a lot of politics involved with that. And we got to fend for ourselves. We got to help each other. We can't be fucking divas, and we can't be fucking love and lighters either about everything. You have to walk the middle path and learn about psychology. Don't throw these terms around like you know what they are when you're using the opposite terminology. A codependent is not necessarily a narcissist. If you know what an inverted narcissist is, learn the terminology and don't just fucking throw it in a video and say you know what the terminology is. You are spreading disinformation just as much. So get off your high horse and actually learn what psychological terms are if you think you know what codependence and narcissism is. Because most of y'all don't fucking know what it is. Okay? And then you divas who get in rap beefs with mentally ill people who truly are mentally ill people, you need to learn about personality disorders because this industry is rife with them. And you're ruining your talents, you're wasting your talents on these trifling people who are, by their very nature, because they have a personality disorder, attention seeking. So you're actually giving them exactly what you want by saying, oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't, girl. Please, you got talents that are being wasted. That's also poverty consciousness. That's love poverty consciousness because that's coming from the little girl or the little boy inside of you that wasn't getting enough love. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of this. Practitioners, those of you who are watching, what do you think about this? Do you see a lot of this diva behavior, this trifling shit that keeps us all separated? Because usually it's like when we do get together, it's like it's either one of two things. It becomes a cult, which is not what we're here for. We're here to teach people to be interdependent, not codependent. And it starts with us. So we need to be working on ourselves. Each and every single day, we need to be healing ourselves and healing our inner child because most of us were scapegoats or, you know, those of us who weren't like fully formed coming out of the womb. Most of us were scapegoats and highly sensitive people who were told continually, just, you know, stop being so sensitive. That's bullshit. You know, that's not going to work. I'm just so sick of this divide. And then the other part of this is there really is a thing called spiritual warfare. And you get these divas saying there's no such thing. Yes, there is. That's the dark side of this. A lot of y'all dealing with a lot of spiritual warfare right now. And there is a war in heaven, and it really is the apocalypse. You can laugh and patronize me all you want, divas, and tell me that's not true, and that there's only this and only that. You're doing the same thing the atheists do. And that's your path. That's fine. Everybody has their path, and they have to come to their own conclusions about things. But the way I see it, this is a house divided. And if you are a practitioner and you're sick of this type of shit and you've tried to create a community and you can't because of egos and or people with no ego boundaries, let me know in the comment section below. And what has worked for you and what has helped. Because I've been trying to find people like myself and learn about my abilities for almost a decade now, to no avail. And that's why I spend a lot of time by myself. It's not for lack of trying. It's like, okay, I'll listen to the person. I'll be like, I like this. I like this. I like this. And then they say some shit like, codependents are just like narcissists. Could you elaborate on that? No. The codependent is just as narcissistic as the narcissist. Well, what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate? No. Then where the fuck do you get off saying shit like that and passing yourself off as an expert? That is dangerous. We owe it to ourselves to learn more about this. Or to say things like spiritual warfare doesn't exist and tarot is legitimate, but people who call themselves psychics are not. Fuck you, first of all. Humble yourself. That's ridiculous. You're using a divination tool. That's all it is. It's a conduit for something else, and you know it. So don't front. And you know, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. People get a little bit of attention or whatever, and they lose their heads. They lose their minds. Or they get, you know, they get all like, hold my hoops, as they say in New York. Hold my hoops, girl. Hold my hoops. Hold my hoops. Ooh, I'm gonna throw down, girl. Hold my hoops. Get my Vaseline. Hold my hoops. It's like, please, could you just take a step back? How about you put your hoops back on And you learn about personality disorders and attention-seeking behavior. And the same thing goes for clients as well. You're going to do a lot better when you learn to see the warning signs of mental illness. And you're going to have less of what's called compassion burnout or compassion deficit because of it. I've been there. I've been there a couple of times because people can be emotional vampires. And it's not just the spiritual that covers it. It's not just the spiritual that heals it. You have to learn how to do this and do it the right way, or don't do it at all. You have no place being a diva or just accepting whatever you're given. There's a way to do this where you can keep your sanity intact and give your talents, your God-given talents that you have, to the masses in a way that doesn't deplete you or turn you into a crazy person. All right? And I want to keep having this dialogue. I want to meet practitioners. I want to hang out with them. But the other thing is that so many of us, most of us who are the real deals, and there's a lot more of us than you think, public, are also highly sensitive people. So you get in a room full of highly sensitive people who are easily, sensitive to this, sensitive to that. The table isn't situated just right. I mean, it can be complicated. It's problematic. It can be problematic getting a bunch of us in a room together. So that's why it's been so hard for me to build a community as well of other fellow practitioners, because so many of y'all are so not working on your own shit. So many of you are not willing to look at yourselves first and say, okay, is this really, am I overstepping a boundary here? Do I believe my own shit? Y'all gotta humble yourselves sometimes. Take the middle path. You don't have to let whoever in just because they're giving you money. And you don't have to say, I'm the queen woman. There is no one better. I know what I'm doing. Just kind of try to walk the middle path and not be so obnoxious. And then maybe we can have a conversation, and then they can tell two friends, and they can tell two friends, and we can build on this and build an actual community instead of this false love and light shit that passes for community known as the New Age movement. Rhymes with sewage. All right? I love you guys. Just try to keep it real. Slow and steady wins the race. Keep an even keel. Stay on the charming side of sensitive. And then maybe people won't call you crazy. How about that? Cash me outside. How about that? Okay, bye.